Hey everyone, it's Simon from Higher Plane Games, and these are my choices for The Walking Dead: A New Frontier Season 3. Initially, when playing as Javier, I was initially like, where's my Clementine? But actually, what I really did like was that Javier and the family dynamic that you had really was dealt with really maturely and interestingly. And what I really liked was that the characters stayed with you for a lot longer than what you did in previous seasons, where there seemed to be such a quick. The whole thing was around everyone dies, everyone dies, everyone dies. Here, it was protecting the same people, and there was less death. Although when deaths did happen, they were meaningful. Mariana's death, in particular, I half suspected she was going to be the one that would go because she was the nice one, as normally happens in these games. But yeah, I didn't expect it so soon. What I did find, though, playing as Javier, was that I didn't necessarily want to start a relationship with Kate because I think that crosses my own moral bro code, personally. I found David to be a complete and utter twat, but I still found that I would protect my family over everyone else. But my family included Clementine because of what had gone on previously in the 2 seasons. So they were kind of on an even kill. However, whenever it was chosen like David versus Clem, I'd always side with Clem because Clem had my back, so I had hers, and David had no one's back but himself. So even when we came broken towards the end of the season and was a bit more of a rounded person, the damage was already done. I guess for me the main forced issue was the relationship between Javier and Kate, because it kept on pushing it back in my face, and I didn't necessarily feel like that was where I wanted the story to go, but it went down that way regardless. I couldn't necessarily do it, and in the end I was like, oh fine, have a relationship, which was slightly frustrating and awkward. I like the way how Clementine's story was wrapped into things, although it did mean that everything you've done in seasons 1 and 2 pretty much was back burner comments rather than forming the character. I don't necessarily know how you could make that stand out more. It's a real problem, I think, for Telltale, that they'll need to deal with this if they continue with the Walking Dead series in the future, and indeed any of their other things that they do. What I did like, though, was in episode 5 where you go into the massive things about what things did and did not happen at the end, and like a character summarization of things, which I loved because it gives you the implications that there was quite a lot of different endings that could have happened there. Whether or not they did or not, I don't know. I chose not to fight back with David. I thought I'd win with love. I chose to stay with Kate because in the end that happened. I found Gabe to be a really interesting character because having already raised Clem to be a fighter and then come across, the names escaped me, the girl in season 2 who was just pathetic, and we mothered her. I wanted to go down cautious optimism with him to make sure that he was prepared, but only to be prepared to fight when he had to. And I felt that Gabe as a character was quite an interesting one to kind of like push your values onto, which was good. I really thought Ava was an underused character. I wanted more of her. Trip, I knew he was going to die from the very beginning. That was really annoying. And then when it happened, that was a shame. Eleanor, again, I think underused. And these episodes this season did feel shorter. I don't know if they actually were. But I wished that we'd spent more time with a couple of those other characters. But ultimately it came down to what I wanted to do with Kate, what I wanted to do with David. You can see the Kate with mixed signals. Whoops. And ultimately then, what happens with Clementine, who becomes my hardened survivor, because that's how I made her in seasons 1 and 2, and it's how I respected her decisions in season 3. Overall, solid season. Interested to see where they go with this in the future, and how they kind of tie things all back in again, and who you would play with next, and what time jump there would be. So thanks for watching. I'd really like to know what your choices were too, because I find the Walking Dead games and Telltale games in general to be quite an interesting exploration of how you play it. Do you play it as you playing as a character, or do you play it as what you think the character would do? That kind of stuff. So do let me know. Take care all. Bye for now.